Why did the cheese go broke? Because it had too many holes in its budget. But don't worry, we won't leave any holes in our story today. We're going to take you on a journey into the whimsical world of cheesemaking, where the magic of bacteria and time work together to create the delicious treat we all know and love. So where does this journey begin? Well, it all starts with a cow or a goat or a sheep. These wonderful creatures produce milk, the base ingredient for our cheese. Now, before you go running off to milk your neighbor's cow, remember, cheesemaking is a delicate process that requires precision and patience. Our first step in the cheesemaking process involves adding a starter culture to the milk. This sounds scientific, doesn't it? Well, in simple terms, we're adding good bacteria to the milk. These bacteria begin to eat the lactose or sugar in the milk, producing lactic acid. This, my friends, is where the fun begins. Now, it may sound a bit gross, but the next step involves adding an enzyme called rennet. This enzyme causes the milk to coagulate or thicken into a custard-like consistency. This process, known as curdling, separates the milk into curds, which are the solid parts, and whey, the liquid part. Remember the nursery rhyme about little Miss Muffet eating her curds and whey? Well, she was essentially munching on the early stages of cheese. After we've got our curds, it's time to cut them up. The size of the curd pieces will determine the texture of the cheese. Smaller curds lead to harder cheeses, while larger curds result in softer cheeses. So whether you're a fan of hard cheddar or creamy brie, remember it's all about the size of the curds. Once the curds have been cut, it's time to heat them up and stir them around. This process, known as cooking and stirring, helps to further separate the curds and whey. After that, the curds are drained and then pressed into molds to give them their final shape. But we're not done yet. No, the cheese then needs to age or mature. This can take anywhere from a few weeks to several years, depending on the type of cheese. During this time, the cheese develops its final flavor and texture. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the cheese-making process. It's a magical journey that transforms simple milk into a delicious array of cheeses. From the happy grazing cow to the careful addition of bacteria and enzymes to the patient aging process, it's a process full of love, care, and a sprinkle of science. And remember, next time you're enjoying a slice of cheese, give a thought to the craft that went into making it. And if you're ever feeling down, just remember the cheese joke from earlier. Why did the cheese go broke? Because it had too many holes in its budget. But unlike our cheese friend, you now have a wealth of knowledge about the cheese-making process, and that's something money can't buy.